Hi, my name is Bill. Welcome to this demonstration of our non-slip floor product. Our treading agent is not a coating like epoxy. It's a formulation of chemicals, and it reacts with the mineral surfaces in such a way that it makes surfaces safer when wet, and it doesn't wear off. It's a treatment that can be applied simply and safely onto many types of existing porous floors, and it exceeds government standards. We're in a residential home that really needs our floor treatment. Right now, this floor scoff reading is way below standards, and that really isn't the worst problem. What if they had a family member or neighbor come over and they slip and injure themselves? This is really an unsafe environment. I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step process, and you will see that our floor treatment is not only effective, it's very simple to apply. The first thing we're going to do is find out what ratio we need to treat this floor tile and dial in the time we need to do it. As we found an inconspicuous area in this house, and the first thing we're going to do is test this floor to see how slippery it really is, and then we're going to do what I call an incremental treatment, which is going to determine the ratio to use and the proper time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to wet the floor down with water to test how slippery the floor really is. And always wet the feet of your slip meter. So this floor is very slippery. We have a 0.29. We're going to see if we can change that. So what we want to do is dry the area. So what I've done is I've mixed up a solution of 16:1. We're going to see if we can dial it in. I'm going to just pour it on there a little bit. I'm going to agitate it a little bit in the area that I want to test. We're going to wait about 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll see how it treats. Now always make sure that your area that you test is big enough to put your slip meter on, so you can determine what ratio to use. Okay, so right now what we're going to do is we're just going to wipe the solution off the surface, and I can tell you already it's treated pretty good. It's sticking, so we might have our good test area here. Make sure it's dry. That's sufficient. Spray it down with water again. Always spray the feet. Now, let's see what reading we get now. All right, guys. 16:1, 10 minutes on the nose, and here's our reading. This is a safe floor. By government standards, anything over a 0.5 is sufficient. We're at a 0.56. We exceed government standards. This is a perfect non-slip floor. Okay, what we've determined from our closet test is that 16:1 at 10 minutes was perfect. So what I want to do is back it down to about a 20:1 because I want a little bit more time. Even though we're in a smaller area, if you're doing a bigger area like a restaurant, you probably want to give yourself at least 15, 20, even up to 30 minutes to treat a surface. That way, if you get distracted for any reason, you can always have enough time to treat the surface of the floor. You don't want to cut yourself short. So I've determined a 20:1 mixture for 15 minutes. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and spray our solution on the floor. I'm not going to spray close to the baseboards because I'm going to use my agitator brush to push the solution closer to the baseboards, and that way I can make sure I don't overspray. So I'm just going to spray about a foot away from the actual baseboard itself. I'm going to get a nice even coating. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to use your agitator brush or your heavy-duty scrub brush to actually move the solution around so it's a nice uniform solution on the floor. Now I'm going to take my agitator brush or my heavy-duty scrub brush or a deck brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and move it up to the floorboard. You guys probably can't see it, but I can actually see the solution, and it's a uniformed liquid on the floor right now because of this brush. And you don't have to push down. All I'm doing is moving the solution around to maintain the floor's wetness. And what you don't want to do is have any dry areas. So you're going to keep your eyes on the surface for the 15 minutes we're going to treat the floor for. Basically, I can see how wet this floor really is, so I can always keep my eye on it to make sure there's no dry spots. And this looks good. Basically, all we have to do is wait 15 minutes. We're going to neutralize it, and then we're going to wipe up the neutralizer, rinse it with water, and this room will be complete. All right, guys, so we've waited our 15 minutes. I've got the same solution, 20-to-1 neutralizer. I'm going to go ahead and neutralize the process. This is real easy because it neutralizes it immediately. You don't have to wait at all. And what I'm going to do is once I get this floor completely covered with the neutralizer, I'm just going to take an old towel that I use. I'm just going to wipe up the neutralizer. And we're going to do the same thing when we rinse it with water. This is as easy and as simple as it is. And of course I use a different towel for the rinsing with the water process. And there we have it. All right, now that we've gotten the neutralizer up, we always want to rinse it thoroughly with water. So I have another pump sprayer here. This one has water in it, and we're just going to soak this floor really good with water. And the good part is you'll know when the neutralizer's up, because if it's slippery, it's not, the neutralizer's still down. But right there you can tell it needs a little more rinsing. So you may have to rinse it with water a few times to make sure you get all the neutralizer off the surface. You can use the same pump sprayer. I've done that before. Just make sure you rinse it very good. Okay guys, now that we've done a final rinse of the floor, it took us 2 rinsings with water to get all the neutralizer off the floor. and we just soaked it up with a towel. That was sufficient. Very simple, very easy. Now we're going to do a final test on this floor. We're going to see what the scoff reading is. Ooh. All right, guys, this is perfect. 0.57.